just want to welcome my primetime family. My name is Seth Packan, and today I have a very special guest, Mr. Zachary Top.
Howdy.
How's it been, man? I mean, you've been on the road, obviously, like crazy.
Yes, sir.
What you been up to?
Heck, pretty much that. I guess since the first of the year, we had a couple weeks off, which was good, but we're back hard at it now, out on the road with Flatland Cavalry this week, and burning up the road. I think I'll have another weekend off after Thanksgiving, so looking
awesome,
to be a busy year.
Yeah, so I mean, you're traveling right now. Are you where at in the U.S. you at right now?
I think we just passed over the border out of Michigan into Ohio, I believe. We played Detroit last night. We're in Cleveland tonight.
Okay. Well, speaking
yes,
of Michigan, man, you just got put on the Faster Horses Festival lineup. And,
yes, sir.
That is a killer lineup. I'm from Michigan, and I've been in that festival multiple times.
I didn't know that. That's awesome.
Yes, sir. Yeah, man. I've been in that festival multiple times, and it is a big party. It's something. It's definitely 3 days of fun. You can't go wrong with that.
Heck yeah, we're really excited. Honored to be included on that lineup, and a lot of the folks we met in Detroit last night said they're going to be out at the festival too. So hopefully we'll have some returning fans. We're really looking forward to that one.
Awesome. So you're hitting all these festivals this year. I mean, there's got to be someone you haven't seen yet, or you're pretty pumped to meet. You're kind of fanboying over. Who is that person?
Oh shoot! I mean, I know we're going to be on Two-Step In with Hank Williams Jr. As far as living legends that are still living, he's up there for sure. I can't wait to see that show. And there's a whole bunch. I don't want to leave anybody out because there's a bunch of people we're excited to be playing with. But then as far as modern day stuff, I'm really a huge fan of Lainey, and I know we get to be on some festivals with her, and obviously on tour with her most of the year too. But I have a ton of respect for her and what she's doing as an artist. I think she's about the coolest thing out right now.
Yeah. So I mean, you just mentioned, right? You're going on tour with Lainey Wilson this year.
Yep.
Do you have any sneaky plans to put out something with her? Maybe your crossover with her bell bottom country, man. I mean, it would combine very well.
It could, yeah. I think our stuff complements each other very well. I think I might start wearing bell bottoms too. Just see if I can give her a little competition. No, I'm just messing with you, but we're looking forward to that. I think the lineup on that tour is going to be really good. And I think it all goes together real well. And yeah, couldn't be more excited about it.
Yeah, man, that's awesome. So you just put a song out recently. It was #1 most added on country radio 2 weeks in a row. Sounds like the radio.
Yeah.
Great song. How'd you come up with that? What was the inspiration behind it?
Thank you, brother. I appreciate that. Glad you're loving the song. I want to say we wrote this song a long time ago. I can't remember. It wasn't my idea, though, for the title.
Okay.
I wrote it with a fellow named Wyatt McCubbin and then my producer, Carson Chamberlain, both great writers and co-writers on a lot of my stuff. But I can't remember which one of them had the idea, but I want to say we messed around and wrote one song in the morning and kind of got through it pretty quick. And then we were kind of like, well, hell, it's 1 o'clock in the afternoon or something. You want to try and start something else. And I think we started messing around with the chorus on that. And that song just kind of fell out. And we looked at each other when we were done. It's like, man, I think that's a good one. I've been holding it ever since. It was one of the first songs we cut. And I always thought that I wanted that to be my first introduction to country radio. Because I think, obviously the song fits the radio format. We did a little friendly pandering there, which I ain't ashamed of. But really, really excited to have that song out. Feels like it's been a long time coming. Heck, we cut the thing in the studio 2 years ago. So we've been sitting on it for a long time, waiting on the right moment, and I can't be more excited about how well it's going so far.
Man, dude, that's awesome. When this song came out, it was almost like it was a cover. I almost thought it was Alan Jackson song that you were covering, but you know, it came out like, no, this is a Zach Top song. You know, he's bringing old school to the new school. You know, and it's pretty awesome, dude. I'm really excited to see what you have coming ahead. Obviously, you have a new album coming out, Cold Beer and Country Music. The title for that, I mean, you can't get more country than that, obviously. What's the story behind that one?
Well, so that's if you remember, the first single we put out is a song called Cold Beer and Country Music, and that was one that I wrote with Carson, who I mentioned before. And that ever since we wrote that song, I felt like it's like, man, if you want something that says this is Zach Top to a T, that's the song right there. And so we put that out as the first single off the project, and got to debut it on the Grand Ole Opry and all this crazy stuff. And when we came around to picking the title for the album, I was like, well, if you want to know what you're getting with this record, that says it right there. So I thought it was perfect and very fitting for the whole thing.
Yeah, no, that's awesome, man. And you just mentioned the Grand Ole Opry, and obviously you played there multiple times. You know, is there a specific time that really sticks in your head that you remember? You know, that who you were playing with, or you know? Yeah,
that's an easy one. The first time I got to meet Vince Gill was out at the Opry. That was, I can't remember exactly when. It was last summer at some point. I can't remember exactly when it was, but I got to meet him. He was just cool as can be to me. Super, super nice dude. Anybody will tell you. And we even got to write a song with him after that, a couple weeks after we played. And hell, he had me out there to do one more last chance with him. I got to sing a little harmony and play a little guitar. But don't go look up the video of me playing with him, because I forgot how to play guitar for about the first 4 bars of the solo. I was so nervous.
Dude,
but that's an easy one. That was fun being able to meet him and hang with him. That's a memory I'll hold on to forever.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. So obviously, you know, with your country background and everything, you had to grow up on some country artists. Who were those guys that you grew up on?
The first one I fell in love with was George Strait. That was the first song I asked to learn how to play on guitar when I started taking lessons, was Amarillo by Morning. I was 5 years old, and that was my favorite song at the time, still one of my favorites, and that was the first one I wanted to learn. And then the other big one that stands out from my childhood was Marty Robbins. My dad had an old cassette in his pickup of Marty Robbins' Gunfighter Ballads and Trail Songs, and I think that was the only cassette he ever had in there. I remember listening to that thing nonstop as a kid when we'd ride around in there. If we were going up to the ranch or wherever we were headed, we listened to the fire out of that cassette. So learned all them good old songs, Big Iron and El Paso and Strawberry Road and all that stuff. And then, you know, as I started getting a little older and starting to really put some work into my singing and stuff, you know, listen to a ton of Keith Whitley. He's my favorite singer, and then a lot of George Jones and Merle Haggard. Tried to emulate all those guys.
Yeah, man, you got a little bit of it all there.
Yeah, I guess so. Tried to learn from the best. I
mean, obviously, you know, your dad kind of influenced you, it sounded like, on some of this stuff. Where, you know, kind of where was this taking place? Where in the U.S., you know, where are you from?
Oh, yeah, I'm from a little town called Sunnyside up in Washington State.
Okay.
Grew up. Yeah, oh, yeah. We grew up just a little outside of town on a little farm, and my dad worked in a livestock business, and so we kind of grew up a little bit around the cowboy way of life, and definitely grew up on country music. My mom and dad had that playing nonstop in the house and in the car.
So Zach Top has lived it. He's lived the true country life, you know, the country music life, but also
to some extent. Yes, sir.
Dude, that's awesome. So I did some digging here, and I found out that at the age of 7, you had a bluegrass band called Top String. Can you tell me more about that?
Yeah, it was a little family band we had. So I started playing about the time I was 5, and my sister Maddie, she started playing fiddle about the same time, and then shortly thereafter I got another older sister named Lakin. She started playing a little bass, and my little brother Joram started playing mandolin. So we, when I was 7 was when we played our first show. We opened up for a Patsy Cline musical at the local high school, and we didn't even have any thoughts of it being a band. We were all just kind of learning our instruments and learning some songs, but fairly independent of one another. And an old family friend of ours called, and he was part of the Rotary Club and all this kind of thing, so they were helping on put on this musical. And he called my dad and said, "John, I hear the kids are learning to play a little music. Do you think they'd like to open this show? We think it'd fit good with the musical." And so anyway, my dad was like, "Well, Randy, I can't answer for them. You're going to have to talk to them." And so I ended up talking to Randy Schuler on the phone as a 7-year-old, and he said, "You want to play this show?" And I said, "Yeah, we sure do." And I asked, "When is the show?" And he said, "Well, it's in a couple months. We got some time." And I said, "Well, that's great. We'll know some songs by then, and we can't wait." So that was the first show we played, and we ran around playing Grange Halls and open mics and bluegrass festivals for, I guess 10 years.
Yeah.
And I can't take credit for naming the band. I think that was my mom. I think she thought she was pretty clever, and we all did too. So.
Well, awesome job, Mom. I mean, obviously, you've done a great job. Fast forward so many years now, 2021, you moved to Nashville.
Yes.
Kind of tell me how that experience was.
It was great, man. It feels like I've always been wanting to do that as long as I can remember, and it kind of felt like a pipe dream for a long time. I didn't know how to get there or what the hell I was going to do when I got there, but I ended up getting hooked up with my producer Carson in I guess it was early 2019. He sent me an email. I had a little video of a song by Daryl Singletary that kind of blew up after he passed away, and we anyway I was getting some calls and emails from people out in Nashville trying to get me to move to town and cut a record or do whatever, and didn't seem like a good move on most of those, and somewhere in the mix, Carson sent me an email, and he's just like, "Man, I ain't much for tooting my own horn, but my name's Carson Chamberlain. I've been in the music business a long time. Maybe, give me a call sometime. I might like to work with you." And I kind of archived the email, and then shortly thereafter found him on Wikipedia and realized who in the heck he was and all the credentials he's got, and was like, holy cow, I got to email this fella back. And anyways, so we started talking and started working, and he was kind of the one that validated it to me and made it seem like, hell, I think I could actually make something happen with this. And I started coming to town for a week every month for about a year and a half, I guess, working with him, co-writing and meeting people and all this kind of thing. So he was kind of the one that brought me to town and finally got moved there full-time in March of 2021.
That's awesome, man. It's the Nashville way right there.
Yes, sir.
So, obviously, you said something about views and stuff. I was digging into stuff, and it's like, man, I feel like people don't even understand, like, what your ability is on social media. You have over 10 million views on TikTok and 1 million views on YouTube. What do you got to say about that?
Well, it's kind of ironic. I'm not a big fan of the whole influencer style of how you got to market yourself these days. That doesn't really come natural to me, and I don't enjoy it. But as long as it's kind of like, hell, I'm gonna be sitting here playing songs and singing at my house anyway. I might as well make videos of that, and folks just kind of latched onto it and seem to enjoy it. So I'll keep doing that. I don't mind doing that, and definitely thankful for the tool that it's a great way to get your music in a lot of people's ears and in front of a lot of people's eyes. So definitely a useful tool. It comes with its downsides, obviously, but very thankful for it and thankful for the response I've gotten and folks that have chosen to follow along and be a fan.
Yeah, no, that's awesome, man. It's definitely a new way of life in this music scene with the social media and stuff.
Yeah.
I'm not going to keep you for too much longer here. I got 3 major questions here. These are just my 3 questions I like to ask country artists.
Love it.
Give me your top truck brand, top whiskey brand, and top boot brand.
What was the top first brand?
Truck brand.
Truck brand, Chevrolet. And top whiskey brand, shoot, I don't know. I like a lot of different things. I feel like my go-to that I'm usually drinking is Bullet Bourbon. And then top boot brand would be a company called Fenolio, made down in Nacona, Texas, little family business, and they make some great boots.
Awesome. Well, Prime Time, you heard it first here. Mr. Zach Top, he's got an album coming out. Cold Beer and Country Music.
April 5th. Yeah.
Yes. We are so excited to hear it. You know, we're really bringing old school to new school with his country style, and we're super excited to see what you have in store for this year, man. Thank you for joining us, and I really appreciate it.
Thank you for the time, Seth. Pleasure to talk to you.
Yes, sir. Have a good one.
Okay. Talk to you later.